Okay, so that last lesson on tables was pretty advanced, right? Building a Sudoku table from scratch using a puzzle as a guide. So now, before we wrap up the section on tables, lists, and images, I want to create a short explainer on how to link these three together and include the concept on nesting. So I'm going to save this as image-table-lists.html. And first of all, the main thing I want to cover here, let's create our standard HTML file with a head and a body, and inside the head, a title. And let's call this nesting images, lists, and tables. So that's what I want to cover in the rest of this video here. In the body, let's create an H1, nesting lists. And as you might imagine, it is possible to have a list within a list. So let's start by creating an ordered list and have a list item. And let's call this, first let's give this list another title. Let's create an H2, a subtitle, favorite directors and their movies. I'm sure most of you like to go to the movies once in a while when you're not programming. So favorite directors and their movies. Let's first start by listing some great directors. Christopher Nolan, gotta be at the top of the list. Guy Ritchie. Let's do James Cameron. So we have three directors, and let's find some good movies. Let's think of some good movies by Christopher Nolan. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky. After Christopher Nolan, let's enter an OL tag. And then inside the OL tag, we'll have another list item. So now that is a sublist after Christopher Nolan. And let's give this a different type. Type equals A. Whenever you talk about the Christopher Nolan movies, you have to include the Batman series. And then let's create a sublist inside the Batman series because that is also a series of movies. So now let's create another ordered list, OL, and then type equals lowercase I, and then inside the OL, this is the OL, the ordered list for the Batman series. So let's add a list item, The Dark Knight, and then another list item, The Dark Knight Rises. Okay, so we have Christopher Nolan as an awesome director, and he directed the Batman series, and inside the Batman series, there were two particular movies that really stood out, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. So now let's find where the Batman series list is. LI, there we go. And let's create another LI underneath it. There's also Inception. That's a great movie. Another list item. And there's also Memento. And let's just say, we could go on with Christopher Nolan movies, but let's just say those are the three best movies that Christopher Nolan has directed. So again, let's do the same thing with Guy Ritchie. Again, it's inside the LI tag that we create another ordered list and give it a list item. Give this ordered list a type of A, and inside the list item, let's have Sherlock Holmes and another list item for a revolver. And then finally, with James Cameron, let's just have a list item as an ordered list, type A, and have a list item of Avatar. And there we go. That's how we create lists inside other lists. Or in other words, listception. No, I'm kidding. Inception, great movie about dreams inside of other dreams, lists inside of other lists. Anyways, tough crowd. Okay, now let's continue in our body tag. And this time, let's create an H2, nesting images in tables. Don't worry, we're not going to create another 9x9 table in this. I just want to show you an example of including images inside of tables. So let's go ahead and create a table. Let's give it a caption of style H3, images in tables. And then underneath the caption, let's create a row. Inside the row, add a TD. So since we did some cat images earlier, let's give a shout out to the dog fans and have some dog images this time. So under dog images, let's find view image, and this is a JPEG. So I'm gonna copy this link here, and then inside the TD, I'm gonna create an image tag. And remember, the attribute is source equals photo, and then let's give it a height of 200, just to be consistent. Images are self-closing tags, so slash and another greater than sign after that. Let's go ahead and knock out another image, another TD. Now I'm going to go back. Let's go to the next dog image, view image, copy this link, under image, src equals, and then self-closing, so slash and then a greater than sign after the source. Let's check out how that looks. Forgot to specify a height for this second image. So let's go ahead and specify a height. Height equals 200. Okay, there we go. I think 2 images per row is fine, unless we want to make them smaller. If we made them 150, we could probably fit 3. Sure, let's make them 150 and fit a third image. And this time the table will just be a 3x2. We'll just have a miniature photo gallery of about 6 images. So here we are, our third image. Copy the link here, create a third TD, and inside the TD we'll create an image tag, and I'll just close it right away. Source equals link, height equals, we're doing 150 now so that we can fit 3 per row and it'll still look nice. And now let's create a new row. I went after the closing row tag and creating another table row, and then a table data. Now let's create another image. I'm just going to close it right away. Now let's go back to our image search and find this tough guy right here. And this is a JPEG image, so we can go ahead and copy this link. src equals link, height equals 150. Another TD, image, close it right away. Here's an image from Pixabay. So when you do view image, it does redirect you to a link that doesn't have a JPEG image. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. In this case, what you want to do is you can just click and drag the image into the URL. And now we have a JPEG extension there that we can use. So image source equals link, height equals 150. Now let's do our last image, TD. Find one more image here. This one looks good. View image. Again, this is on Pixabay, which redirected me to a place where I can share the image. So again, I'm going to drag and drop the image into the URL bar, and now that'll give me the JPEG extension towards the end. So TD, image, source equals, and then height equals 150. We've added a lot of images. Let's go back and see how this looks. Pretty good. That's a nice little photo gallery there. Do note one thing, that when I make the width of this window shorter than the width of the photo gallery, it would be nice if the images just, rearrange themselves so that I didn't have to scroll to the right here. That is going to be what Bootstrap and CSS media queries are for, and we're going to get into that towards the latter half of this course. That's it for creating a photo gallery using tables with images inside them. And by this point, you've probably had enough of lists, tables and images. So next time we're going to do something completely different.